Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back after a long grind for this quick little video on, well, it's not really a quick video, but this video on Nick Fury. Now, I used a gem on him. I put up 77 million points in the arena, nailed him, used the awakening gem on him, and he is up to rank 3 right now. So let's just go take a quick little look at him, the one-eyed man, and see what we've got. So if we go in and look at his abilities here, and his signature ability is, of course, we all know from fighting him in the event quest, is when Nick would be knocked out, his life model decoy is destroyed instead, and he returns to the fight with a permanent Fury buff and stun immunity. However, Nick loses his infinity formula and begins degenerating 4.95% of his health per second for the rest of the quest, while above 30% max health. Destruction of Nick's decoy removes all effects and isn't affected by ability accuracy reduction. So basically, he comes back to life. He's like a zombie. All right. So now if we move on to his abilities with Battle Scars, when striking a bleeding opponent, Nick's critical rating is increased by 222.22, and his attack ignores 100% of physical resistance. Now that's pretty cool. I like that. While the opponent is not under the effect of a regeneration buff, all of Nick's bleeds are 100% more effective, and you're gonna see later on what his bleeds can actually do. All right, his basic attacks. Ending a combo with a light attack has a 100% chance to inflict a bleed, dealing 569.25 damage over 1 second. Now remember, he's Sig 14, rank 3 right now, so those could change as I take him up and get more Sig stones in him. Landing any medium attack has 100% chance to inflict a bleed, dealing 31.63 damage over 6 seconds. So the light attack inflicts more bleed damage over the medium attack, and you're going to see why that could be important later on. When hitting into an auto block... Oh, I forgot about the heavy attack. Sorry. Landing a heavy attack has a 100% chance to inflict up to 3 stacks of bleed, each dealing 63.25 damage over 12 seconds. Now, the heavy attack is great when you're trying to get up to the eternal bleed, and we'll talk about that as we're fighting. When hitting into auto block, Nick is stun immune and has a 100% chance to inflict a bleed, dealing 63.25 damage over 12 seconds. So if you hit into a block with Nick Fury, you have a chance to inflict a bleed, which is pretty cool. I like that. Knocking down the opponent purifies Nick's non-damaging debuffs. All right, the internal bleed, excuse me. If the opponent gets 8 stacks of bleed, their bleed effects are removed and replaced with a passive internal bleed, which deals 3,415.5 damage over 30 seconds. Now that damage over time, that is a lot, and you can get some serious damage with that. While internal bleed is active, all of the opponent's bleed debuffs have an increased duration of 0.2 seconds per tactical charge. So the more tactical charges you have, the duration of those bleed debuffs along with the internal bleed are extended. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm really liking what Nick Fury has to say on paper. All right, tactical charges passive. So Nick starts the fight with 6 charges when fighting an Avenger. When Nick is struck, he has a 100% chance to gain 1 tactical charge, reduced to 25% chance against mutant opponents. Obviously, they have the class advantage. While Nick is under the effect of a Fury effect, tactical charges durations are paused. So that's basically when Fury becomes furious. Nick loses 1 charge every 6 seconds, decreasing to every 4 seconds while at or above 10 total charge. Additionally, if the opponent performs a well-timed block, Nick loses a charge. So basically, if you get parried, you lose a charge. At 5 charges, Nick's attacks can't miss or be evaded, so that makes him an excellent counter to evade champions if you can build up those tactical charges to above 5. At 10 charges, Nick's Purify effects now target all debuffs, so that's pretty cool. So basically, it's kind of like Ghost's phasing. At 15 plus charges, Nick becomes unblockable. So that's kind of a lot like Aegon. So basically, if you get above 15 tactical charges while the opponent's blocking, just run in and start punching him in the face. It's going to be awesome, right? At 20 plus charges, All charges are removed and replaced with a Fury's Fury buff, which grants 2,277 attack rating for 10 seconds. All tactical charge gains are doubled while Fury's Fury is active. So basically, once you get more than 20 charges, you gain a Fury buff. All right, special attacks. Now, this is where a lot of his damage comes in. When performing the special attack 1, Nick immediately gains 4 tactical charges. Now, that's good if you're trying to build your tactical charges. So let's say you're, fighting someone you're fighting an evader, you're fighting a Spidey. That's going to help you out a lot because you're already pretty much there. The special attack 1 disorients the opponent, reducing their block proficiency by 50% and defensive ability accuracy by 70% for 8 seconds. So this is good. The special attack 1 is great when you're trying to build your tactical charges. Now, the special attack 2, Nick slashes his opponent, causing up to 4 stacks of bleed, each dealing 316.25 damage over 8 seconds. 50% chance to stun the opponent for 3 seconds. Stun chance increases by a flat 10% for each of Nick's tactical charges. So, the more tactical charges you have on the opponent, when you launch the special 2, the more chance you have to stun the opponent. So, if you have 10 tactical charges, that's 100% chance to stun right there. So get 10 tactical charges, launch that special 2, boom, opponent stunned, run in, have some fun. All right, special attack 3, additional 2,530 attack if Fury's Fury is active, and additional 2,530 attack if internal bleed is active. So if you've got internal bleed up, when you launch your special 3, you're gonna do more damage over time. All right. So now that we've looked at his abilities, let's go ahead and look at Nick's synergies. So I was kind of a little surprised when I looked at these synergies. He's like Venom. He's got a synergy with himself, which I think is fantastic. So 10% attack rating, this boost is doubled if Nick is dead. So remember, once he dies, he regenerates 100% of his health, but then he degenerates back 70%. So you're left with 30% health. But that's important because when he is in that phase, the decoy phase, he is much more powerful, I want to say. So you'll get more damage. Restoration kit, all champions except Nick. So now a lot of these synergies benefit who Nick synergizes with and not Nick necessarily himself. So with the Deadpool, so you got Deadpool, X-Force, OG Deadpool, and Goldpool. If Nick is alive once per fight, when a teammate is inflicted with a bleed, poison, or shock debuff, he will drop a restoration kit, purifying the debuff and regenerating 10% of their max health over 3 seconds. So that could become very useful. All right, so now moving on to strategic sabotage with Quake and Ant-Man. If Nick is alive, the first 3 unblocked hits from the opponent have a 100% chance to be evaded. So that's pretty cool. Now remember, this only works if Nick is alive. Okay, moving on to increased power. And these are with the 2 Black Panthers. If Nick is alive, when the fight starts, he grants his teammates a buff, doubling their critical rating for 10 seconds. So that kind of makes the Black Panthers a little bit more beneficial, doesn't it? All right. Contingency plan. Now, this one is, I believe, the only one that benefits Nick, and it is with the Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel. So you got Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, OG Captain Marvel, and the new Captain Marvel, which we all kind of figured he was going to have a synergy with. All champions, if Nick is alive, all Fury buffs have 20% increased duration, including his own. So if you bring in any of the Captain Marvels, you're going to be able to extend your Fury duration by at least 20%. So that's awesome. He's going to hit even harder, and so are the Captain Marvels. Extreme Conditions Kit. Again, all champions except Nick. These are with the Iron Men and Punisher 2099 and Civil Warrior. If Nick is alive once per fight, when a teammate is inflicted with any cold snap, frostbite, or incinerate effect, he will drop an Extreme Conditions Kit, granting debuff immunity for 10 seconds. And again, this is with Civil Warrior, Punisher 2099, OG Iron Man, and Infinity Man. All right, Power Kit with Scarlet Witch and Loki. Again, all champions except Nick. If Nick is alive once per fight when a teammate is affected by a Power Steal, Power Lock, or Power Drain effect, he will drop a Power Kit, removing the effect and granting 1 bar of power over 10 seconds. So could you imagine if, if we had a 5-star Scarlet Witch, what that would be like? So someone you're fighting, you know, you power drain her and boom, Nick Fury drops in, granting her an immediate bar of power. Be pretty sweet. All right, guys, so now that we went over Nick Fury's abilities and synergies, let's go ahead and test him out. Right now, we'll go test him out, play around with some Winter Soldier, watch him beat up on Winter Soldier. I did bring in the Ms. Marvel synergy since that does increase his Fury by a duration of 20%. So that's really the only synergy that benefits Nick Fury. So the whole idea here is I want to test out his damage, basically his bleed output, from when he's alive versus when he's, you know, resurrected or in the decoy mode, whatever. So this is basically the way I gathered from this is a similar Archangel gameplay, you know, parry heavy, get the bleeds going. So that's kind of how I liked playing him. I like his gameplay. It's pretty smooth. He's not clunky, which makes me super happy. I cannot stand clunky champs. So we got 1 internal bleed going and 5 stacks of bleeds on top of that. Now you can see that damage really isn't that great. It's about what, $150, something like that, or $250. So it's not great. So we've got 2 internal bleeds going now. I'm gonna drop another heavy. And we've got 2 internal bleeds and 2 stacks of bleeds. Just trying to get Winter Soldier here to throw his special. So now I want to try to get, so we lost the 1 internal bleed. So I want to try to get more bleeds on him, get him up to maybe another internal bleed before I drop my special 3 so we can really see the bleed damage roll. So we've got 1 internal, we got 2 internal bleeds now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end with a light, get the stacks of bleeds going, drop my special 3, and see how the damage goes. So we're up to 49, 50 some hits right now. Was that 53? And bleed's pretty good, right? That's about what? It was about what, like round 5 or so, I think that's what that was. So now what I want to do is I just want Winter Soldier to kill me off, because I want to come back and see what my damage output is going to be. So if you saw right there, I had greater than 15 tactical charges. So I went unblockable. So then I got upwards of 20. So I gained a Fury charge with the tactical charges there. So now I've got 4 tactical charges. I'm just trying to do the parry heavy Archangel playstyle again, build up my bleeds. So I've got 6 stacks of bleeds right now. And gonna heavy again. So now I've got an internal bleed and 1 bleed. So now what I want to do is I want to get some more bleeds going. I want to try to get 2 internal bleeds. That's what I want to try to do before I drop this special 3. Will it happen? You'll have to wait and see. Guess not. So I did the 5-hit combo, ended with the light, dropped my special 3. And let's see how the damage is this time around. So as you can see, the damage is much higher. It's around what, 7K a tick for the bleed damage when Fury has been resurrected. So for just sheer damage output, yeah, it's kind of risky playing this way overall, but you know, if it's gonna be a quick fight, it might be worth it. The only problem is once he's resurrected, it's only once per quest, so you can't go back and bring yourself back to life again in another fight. It's not like it's once per fight, it is once per quest. So if you're gonna do this, I would recommend probably saving until you're at the final boss, or until you think you are not going to need to use Nick Fury anymore. So my overall thoughts on Nick Fury, is I'm a fan. I like him a lot. He's a lot of fun. Like I said, I like his game style, his gameplay. It's really smooth. I think he would be a better defender than attacker in war. I definitely think he's going to be useful in questing, most likely going to help out. If you haven't done Variant Chapter 1, I think he would be a tremendous help in Variant Chapter 1. I think he's going to help out in Act 6 a lot. And speaking of Act 6, I am actually going to be testing out some of his synergies in Act 6 to see how well they actually work. You know, he has the one that benefits himself, but his other synergies benefit his team members. So I want to test those out and see if that works, especially with all the crazy debuffs that you can get on in Act 6. So anyways, guys, that's all I got on my thoughts of Nick Fury. What do you guys think? Do you think he was worth the 77 million points that I put up for him in the arena? Please let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Nick Fury. You know, I love hearing everyone's opinions on him. That's all that I got. Thanks everyone for watching. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe and to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye guys!